Hi, I'm Donna Eden, and this is wonderful to share this information with you. This is about energy medicine. And energy medicine is the oldest, it's the safest, it's the most organic, and it's the most accessible medicine there is. And when you begin to see medicine or life through the lens of energy, a whole new world opens to you. An important, really important truth to know is that your body was designed to heal itself. It's in your ancestral bones. It is your birthright. 2.5 million years ago, our ancestors would not have survived had they not known how to heal one another. And healing one another also opened the heart to loving more, to having more compassion. So however dormant that may be within you, I can promise you it is there, lying in your bones, in every cell in your body. You carried it forth from the DNA from millions of years ago. So I'd like to invite you to come along with me and learn about your own energy fields and to know that truly energy is all there is. There is nothing else. We are not solid, but we are lattice works of force fields that you can learn to dialogue with, that you can learn to interact with and have influence over so that you might be healthier, you might have more vitality, that you might even have more joy and be more in touch with your own spirit and soul. I have taught classes all over the world for the last 22 years, and I know as an absolute that anyone can learn to do healing and can turn on that self-healer within them. It is no longer enough to just survive. We must evolve to be able to counter all the stresses in our world today. I mean, we have electromagnetic energies in the way of electricity, in microwaves, we have chemical pollutants in the air we breathe and in what we eat. And I will show you ways to counter those pollutants, those toxins. I will show you ways to rid your body of those things that you have already taken in. I will help you with handling disease and stress and ways to generally be healthier. This is not just about staying well or healthy in the sense of not being in disease. I'm speaking also about your children or your experience in the school systems. How you learn or how you take in information also has to do with energy. What may look like a learning handicap may simply be that that person's energy that is so unique to them is not quite in sync with the way the schools are trying to teach them. And if I can help that student or that teacher teach that student how to find a way to be in sync and in rhythm with the way that the subject is being taught them, then they find a way to learn. It is such a joy for me to experience a child or even an adult who feels that they can't learn to read, for instance, and then to find out that it wasn't because they were dumb. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with their energies are simply going against the grain of the way, for instance, words are printed on a page. And there are ways to unscramble that person's field of energy so that the way their brain takes in the information goes along with how they're reading the information, and they learn to read. Speaking for myself, I'm actually fairly dyslexic. So these tools and these techniques I use for myself before I ever read anything or before I type something. There are many of these tools I have learned that I can unscramble my force fields and suddenly read very smoothly. I wish that what I am to teach in this video could be given to schools all over the world. If children knew how to manipulate, move their own energy so that they could take away their stresses, so that they could take away their headaches, or if they felt illness coming on, they literally knew what to do, we would all feel more empowered and more alive to our own selves. Children would not have quite the self-esteem problems that they may have if they knew that they had such impact on their own lives, on their own bodies. I would say almost all the autoimmune diseases that come my way, that I experience this in classes or in my private work, have to do with an energy scramble of some kind. And we live in such a fast-paced world today, and so few of us are in rhythm with our own energies. We are out of sync with our own energies. We're having to meet a 9-to-5 job, or we're having to be behind the 8 ball of all the things we need to do, and we get out of sync. Enough of that getting out of sync, exhaustion comes in, and we can't think, we can't function, we find we're losing our temper, we are sorely in need of some tools and techniques that can get us back on track. And that's what I am offering you here today. I'm offering you some things that can really help anyone's life. Now, I want you to get the very most out of this program. And the first thing I would tell you is don't try to memorize. Don't try to memorize what I'm giving you here. You've got the program. You can just see it again and again, those parts that you really want to absorb, especially things like the 5-minute daily routine. You're going to want to get that down. But if you try to memorize it, for some people, that's the very thing that can scramble your force fields. So you just want to absorb it in your own time. And as you do, it will become like second nature to you. It will be like, well, you might remember what it was like when you were learning to drive, to shift gears, and how you couldn't get it in the beginning. But after a time, your body began to learn it. Your body began to know it. And what I want you to know is your body already knows this language. It's just got to tap it into it and find it again. We've all forgotten that which is most natural to us. But you might find that some of the things I teach you, if you think about it, you'll say, my God, I do that. I do that fairly natural. When I feel stressed or when I feel upset, I find myself doing something similar to that. And the second thing I want to say pertains to doing something similar. If your body wants to do it a little bit differently than I'm showing you, trust it. Trust your body to know that this is the best way to do it for you. The third thing I will say is so many of the things I will teach you, you may have seen or known in another kind of program. And I have seen that many, many times over the years, that the things that I thought I figured out has been done many times over the thousands of years, through millennia probably, since the beginning of time, because they gave people the tools to survive. And we just keep finding those things again and again. So nothing is new under the sun. So I am not at all saying that this is my program, even if I think I made it up. I believe that many, many cultures are doing similar things. But I'm trying to give you some ways that I have found out over 22 years those things that really work. Here's what you're going to get from this video program. A 5-minute energy routine you'll find you'll want to do every day. It'll show ways to keep your body feeling healthy and balanced. And for when you're sick or not feeling well, I will show you energy tests that will indicate where to begin the healing work. I'll show you practical steps for setting your energies to overcome illness, and a test to predict the effects of food, vitamins, and other influences on your body. There will be techniques to alleviate stress and pain, and how to operate at your peak. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. I want to show you today how to mobilize your life force, how to heal yourself, or maybe just get your energy back. And this is all about energy, because we live in a sea of energy. And that does not mean that all of that energy is good, because we also live in a sea of man-made energies, like microwaves and electricity and the chemical pollutants in our food and water and air we breathe. And we have stresses hitting us from all angles. So I'm wondering, do you feel that your body can metabolize all those stresses? If you think maybe they cannot, I've got something that can help your body metabolize those stresses. Energy testing allows you to identify underlying health problems, places where your energies are congested, deficient, or out of balance. You'll be able to tailor the tools taught in this program to your own unique needs or someone you care about. Again, this is all about energy, and the idea that energy is all there is, that there is nothing else, that we are not solid, but we are lattice works of force fields. Most people understand what it is I'm talking about if I can start demonstrating. So I'd like somebody, would you like to come up here? And I'm going to show you a little bit about energy, all right? And I'm going to show you a little bit about energy testing, because one of the unique things about every one of us is that we are unique, and that's what I love about energy testing. Energy testing is an extraordinary biofeedback tool to let you know what is happening in the body. It's amazing. I love it because I finally, 22 years ago, found a way to show people what it was I was seeing in energy. And it's very, very accurate if you learn how to use this tool. And it's both an art and a science to learn this. It's not a parlor game, though some people use it as such. You can really use it to know what's happening. So I'm going to show you a little bit about energy testing. Now I'm going to put her arm straight up like that, with her fingers out, her thumb down. I'm going to have my hand open, and I'm going to put my hand in back of her wrist and push down and she's got a nice bounce. And so she's very strong, and that's what I was looking for. I wasn't looking to see if I was stronger than her, if I had bigger muscles. I kept my hand open, but you can tell, just like, well, if you don't have to use all your might to push against a wall to know whether that wall will stand up. You can just push, and you'll find out whether there's a power coming back against you. And she was very strong. Did you agree you're strong?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to show you something most interesting. I'm going to take my hands and be within, 4 or 5 inches from her body, and do that. Now I'm going to ask you to put your arm up again in the same way. And this time I'm only going to use one finger, and I want you to push up with all your might this time. And with one finger, I can take her energy down. And what that's about is I traced a meridian backwards. We all have, we have 14 meridian pathways in the body that are electromagnetic. And because they're electromagnetic, you can use your hands just like taking a magnet along the flow, and it opens up the energy so it starts moving. I trace.
Give it back to
I am. I am going to give it back. Since what I did was I traced her meridian backwards, and it takes energy out of the flow. Now watch what happens. Okay. Now, you keep your arm down. I'm going to give you some energy back. All right. So again, I don't have to touch her as long as I'm within her energy field here. It works. Now again, push. Now I'm telling you, she is so strong. This time I am using muscle so that you can see that this has. I mean, you're not a what is it called? You're not a plant in the audience, right? No. I mean, you could tell the difference, right?
I certainly could.
All right.
In fact, I felt a little stronger.
Yeah.
Would there be a reason for that?
Yes, that's right. Good. Yes, yeah. When you trace a meridian forward, you literally get energy, and your body gets more and more sensitive to that. So you're already sensitive if you could feel it that quick. And some people can feel it instantly. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. It just depends on your sensitivity. But your sensitivity grows the more you do this. So yeah, thanks. All right. Let me show you a little bit else about energy, okay? Can I have, I don't know, somebody else like to come up? Come along. In a little bit, I'm going to show you about neurolymphatic reflexes. And I'm just going to show a demonstration right now for demonstration purposes, okay? So I'm going to test you in the same way. So I'm going to ask you to put your arm up in that same way, with your fingers out, and I'm going to have my open hand behind. Now, oh, oops. She's nice and weak to begin with, so we've got to get her strong right away. So I'm going to, I'm going to use a different method. Okay, I could trace her meridian forward and see if that energy comes back, but I could also massage her right there. I'd actually like to tell something on you, okay? I think I will. She has a wire underbra on, and wire underbras tend to clog your lymphatics. And that could be one of the reasons her energy is weak right now, because the energy doesn't drain, okay? So I just massaged where the wire is, and we're going to see what happens if it gives you any energy. Yeah, she's got more energy. Do it again. Yep. So likewise, I'll show you what a wire does. If I go like that, it's the same thing that a wire does. Now, push up with all your might. And it takes your energy away. So if you're draining energy through the day and you've got a wire on, whip it off. You know. No, what you do is you massage under your breasts, okay? All right. Okay. I would like somebody to come up here that I can teach that indicator test with right now. Come along. All right. There's another name that many people hear, and I want to say it, and that is muscle testing. Over the years, I came to call it energy testing because I'm very interested where energy travels, whether it's through the muscle or the bones or the sinew or the vessels or wherever it is. That's what I work with. So that's why I came to call it energy testing. It's like you're testing energy. You're not really testing the muscle strength. But muscle testing is another name that many people use. Okay? So here is the general indicator test. One more time. You put the arm straight out to the side. It's actually a little bit closer. What is that? What kind of angle is that? You can do it straight out to the side if you want, or it can be slightly in, all right? And you put your open hand behind the wrist. Put your other hand on the opposite shoulder. And you're going to ask them just to push up as you push down. And see if there's strength, if there's a bounce. I'm going to tell you something. She has a bounce, but it's a little bit sluggish, okay? When it's sluggish, or when that person says, I had to work too hard to hold it up, then that's a cue that not all of the energy is there. Now, sometimes it's obvious and the person can't hold their arm up. And sometimes it's really strong and you know that they're strong. But sometimes she's almost strong, but there's something different. And you begin to feel that over time. So let's just see it. So, all right. So what you're looking for, you just push for about 2 seconds. That's all, okay? No longer than about 2 seconds. And again, you don't want to overpower someone. If you happen to be energy testing somebody smaller than you or stronger than you, you always want to, you want to just keep your hand open and ask, and if you're working with a muscle man who's going to use a lot of power and a lot of strength, just ask him just to hold his arm out that way so he's not throwing in every muscle he can, because it's not a muscle test. It's to find out whether the energy is traveling down this arm or not. Right out from her body, out this arm. Is it traveling? Now, what is very interesting, I didn't expect what just happened, but as I did that, I realized I was tracing one particular meridian, and that was the one she needed. Now, there's something intuitive and instinctual that happens. I didn't plan that. But you often find when you get into this work that you do the intuitive thing. And intuition goes a long ways in this, because there's an attunement to energy that you begin to feel. And it does open up your intuition. So, following some guidelines is important. Again, it's both science and it's art. And it's finding that balance between both. And so if the person is not strong, there's a lot of different methods for getting them strong and a lot of different reasons that they may be weak. At this point, we're just going to show you about testing, okay? So again, you push down, and if there's a nice again, she's not quite strong. We'll leave you strong, okay? I'm going to trace your meridian, okay? And this particular meridian I'm tracing is stomach meridian. I'm going to start right underneath the eyes, and I drop to the jawbone. Circle up the outside of the face to the forehead, and come down through the eyes to the collarbone. Out slightly, over the breasts, and at the waist, out at the hips, straight down the legs, and off the second toe. And I can feel that. And you open up to energy, and you begin to feel it more and more and more. Yes, yes, you're healed. Okay, thank you. I will be teaching you 2 energy tests in this video. You've just learned the first one, which is called the General Indicator Test. Later on, I'll show you a second test and how to feel confident when you're doing that energy test. I'm going to suggest to you a 5-minute daily routine to do once a day or twice a day. And after a time, no one will have to insist that you do it or remind you to do it. You will find you will want to do it because it will make such a difference in your life. It will unscramble force fields. It will relieve you of some of the stress buildup in your body, and you'll just be able to function in this world so much better. If you're just starting to get sick, it can often nip it in the bud. That you will find so many benefits from just this 5-minute routine. So I'm going to show when you might need it and how to test for it and then how to do it. All right. The daily energy routine includes the 3 thumps, which are K27, thymus and spleen points, the cross crawl, the Wayne Cook posture, the crown pull, the neurolymphatic flush, and the zip up. This is called the 3 thumps. So I'm going to just pick people, okay, who I think might need it. You. Tell me your name again. Ingrid. Okay, Ingrid. I'm going to energy test you in the same way, okay? And I want you to push your arm down. I'm going to push it up, and you hold. All right, she's pretty strong. She's not greatly strong, but pretty strong. Now what I want you to do is just walk to me, okay? And now put your arm up and push up with all your might. Oh. The reason why she lost energy when she walked just forward to me was because her meridians are running backwards. What that's about is when you're having to handle too many things in your life, too many duties, too many things at odds, too many stresses, maybe your body really wants to relax and let go, and you cannot, and you keep forward in your normal manner, well, your meridians in your body's wisdom start going backwards. And that's to give you the message to take a vacation, take a rest, get out of stress. But most of us can't just do that. And we just have to keep going. And then eventually you get really tired, really exhausted, or you might even get sick, okay, after a time. So that's what's wonderful about these points right here. Now you can find them yourselves, okay? Where they are is if you find your clavicle, your collarbone, come to the corner there and drop into a hole. Most people have a hole. Don't worry about it if you can't find one. It's like a dip. But if you don't have a dip, some people are flat. It's like about 3/4 of an inch down from that bone, and it's slightly out to the side. And it's called, you're down a little bit lower than you need to be. It's right there.
Ooh, yeah.
And it tends to hurt if you need it, okay?
Wait, do I need that?
Yeah. Okay, now you can either massage these points or you can thump them. And a lot of people find that they can't massage themselves and get as much pain as I can give to them. And that's not because I'm actually pushing harder. It's because, like, you can't tickle yourself. You can't hurt yourself either, as much as somebody else can. So, but if you thump them, you're going to get them. And these points are called K27. They're the 27th point on kidney meridian. Now, all right, so I want you to thump them for a minute. Yeah, and this is how I want you to thump them. Okay. Okay, and breathe when you do it. And what these points do, they're junction points for all the meridians in the body. And so every meridian is influenced by tapping these points, which means they will flip the meridians around and go in a forward direction, in a forward manner. So if your meridians have been running backwards, tapping these points will turn them around so they're going forward and you're not out of sync with your energy anymore. Then you have less chance of getting sick, less chance of exhausting yourself and wiping yourself out. Now let's see if you can walk. Just walk around and come back to me. Okay. Now, very good. All right. So when you're starting to feel tired, if you're starting to feel exhausted, feeling like you're out of sync with yourself or with the world, tap, thump, K27. If you're driving on a freeway late at night and you're starting to fall asleep, take one hand off the steering wheel and thump K27. Nobody will have to tell you that these work. You'll feel energy go up into your eyes and your eyes wake up a little bit. These are excellent points for kids in school because when you're trying to learn something, children sitting at their desks trying to learn something from the teacher at the blackboard, there is often a disconnect between the time they look up to the blackboard and the time they look down to their papers, and a literal disconnect in their energies. And if they thump K27, it makes the energies go between their brain and their eyes, and it doesn't lose that force when they look up to a blackboard and down to their paper. So it's a great thing for children to do, or anybody to do in a classroom. Likewise, if you're reading a book and you feel like you don't remember what you read on that last paragraph, that's a definite sign that you need to thump K27. Okay? All right. Let me just la 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 la. Let's see. You want to come? Okay. Now the second thump, these are 3 thumps you're getting, K27. The second thump is right here. Okay, there's a technique called therapy localizing, that if you want to just find out if a place on the body needs some more energy to go through it, you can simply just touch it. And this is a good one to test. So you hold your arm strong, and I'm going to just push down. He's got some strength, but not enough. You know, I shouldn't be able to push his arm down. And all that means is this is the thymus gland, where the thymus gland sits. And the thymus gland is really important in your immune system. And everything that stands on two legs, except for humans, thump their thymus. See, I don't have a microphone here. You know how, except Tarzan. Tarzan does, and the apes do, and the monkeys do, and the gorillas do before they swing on these vines. And what it does is it gives you vitality and aliveness, and you are less susceptible, again, to the stresses that come your way. You can handle things better. And this is also a very important one to thump when you're under a lot of stress. So I want you to thump your thymus. Good. Right, that's good. Now, that wasn't very long, but okay, that was just 4 thumps on him, you know, brought that energy up. You know, years ago, they used to, just up till about 10 or 15 years ago, even in medical journals, they would say that it was no longer an important gland after you were 12, that it begins to atrophy. Because if they happened to be operating in that part of the body, it looked like it was not doing anything. But that's because it put all of its energy out to save your life. And they found that, and so they would often take it out, the thymus gland, thinking it was not of value. But they found out that people did not heal when they did this. And so more and more they're finding that still, even though it doesn't grow past about 12 years old, it still works extremely hard in your immune system and is very important. And if you notice what people do who are stressed, I mean, you might, if you start watching people, you'll start seeing things. And you see, old ladies often do this when they're stressed, and you'll see an awful lot of. I tend to go, you know, when I'm surprised by something, and there is something automatic that we do in a lot of the things that I'm teaching. You'll start noticing yourself. Gee, I do that one. All right, great. Thump your thymus. Okay. The last one. You want to come up? I'm sometimes picking someone who I think might need something, okay? This is my primo first aid for myself. You know, we all find one that really, really works for us. And this one is, and it's an individual thing, because for some people it really, really works, and for other people, they say, well, yeah, it really helps, but it's not as much. So it tends to be individual, but for everybody it helps to a certain extent, okay? Now, I'm going to test you. I'm going to test you in a different way, and I will show how to I will show how to do this energy test later. But for right now, I'm going to just do this. Hold your arm next to your body. I'm going to pull your arm straight out, and don't let me pull, okay? Hold with all your might. Nice and weak. And that tests a meridian called spleen meridian, and that one deals with how you metabolize different things coming your way, whether it be food or pollutants or whatever. Now this may simply be tonight, because I'm not at all naming you that you're not able to do this, but tonight this meridian happens to be weak, okay? So hold again with all your might, and I mean one finger. Okay, I'm going to do one finger. Nice and weak. All right. Right here. See how, let's see. If you, okay, come to where your bra ends, fellas. And drop one rib. Okay? And you'll find, for most of us, there's a little indent. You see where I am right there? That's the points. You're a little bit further out, I think. Let's see. That's right. Right there. Is there some tenderness there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. All right. Now, just tap and breathe. Breathe deeply and tap. These are first aid kits, first aid points that have, well, they feel like a first aid kit for me, because they have helped me when I've come close to fainting, when I've felt like, whoa, the energy was really hitting me, or I just felt like I was losing my balance. I've stood in front of classes with lots and lots of people and just started hitting, you know, and suddenly I'd balance out. and whatever was going on would just balance out. I've had other people say that it has stopped. I've even had a couple of people tell me it stopped seizures for them. I've had people say when they just felt like they were starting to get the flu, if they tapped real hard, it tended to leave. And so it's, all right, so let's see if we can, now hold your arm real strong. You can get a little stronger. You're pretty strong, but I'm going to tap you some more. Just to make sure, so you know how to do it. Okay, hold. Now, it's interesting. Okay, you're pretty good. Okay, thank you. Okay, so those are the 3 thumps. And one more time, it's thumping here. Okay, all of you do this. Thump here, and then thump here. And I would stay longer on each of the points, you know. I'm just showing you where they are. All right. The energy from your right hemisphere is meant to cross over to the left side of your body, and from the left hemisphere over to your right side of the body. And when that happens, it creates a crossover energy literally all over your body. It's like many, many crosses is what I see, okay? And when you don't see those kinds of crosses, you know the person isn't functioning optimally, okay? And if your energies aren't crossing over, maybe you can't think as clearly, or you're just feeling sort of lethargic and you're not hearing, you're not taking in what a person is saying. So let me see, did anybody bring is that your purse? Okay, I'm going to show you something. Would you come up with your purse? I know I'm using you again, but I want to show. I want to show you some of the things that can throw your body off so that your energies are not crossing over anymore, okay? So I'm going to put your purse down, and all right, she's nice and strong now. Now I just want you to put your shoulder bag on and just walk a few steps. Okay, that's enough. Now take your shoulder bag off, and I'll show you what happens to a person's energy. A shoulder bag cuts through the main meridian lines in the body. And also, you can't cross your arms in a cross-crawl fashion. So cross-crawl gets obliterated in a lot of people's lives. And have you ever gone to the gym or done an exercise program, and at the end of the exercise program, when you should have felt fabulous and you didn't? Has that ever happened for anybody? Yes? Well, what that's about is, if that's ever happened to you, it's because some of those exercises throw your body out of a cross crawl and more into energy just going straight up and down your body. So now what I want you to do, if you think that has happened to you, nobody needs to test you. I mean, you begin to feel not centered, not balanced. You don't feel great after exercising. Something like that's going on. Or you're not able to grasp some information in a classroom or any of those things. So do a cross crawl. You guys ought to do it sitting down in your chair. Yeah, just hit the opposite knee. And I like how she's doing it with her elbows, is a really good way. Because it creates more of a crossover and is really good. All right, let's see if you're fixed. All right, now, let me do that again. Okay. So if you're going to use a shoulder bag, when you get to your destination, do a cross crawl, so that you don't wear yourself down as the day goes on, okay? Just to give an example of an exercise program, why don't you come up here? What's your name?
Armis.
Armis, oh, great name. It's not short for Armistat, is it?
No, I made it up when I was a kid.
Oh, it's great. Okay, hold your arm real strong and don't let me push down. All right, he's really strong. All right, now I want you to do a few jumping jacks. Don't go off the end. Okay, that's good. And now put your arm up. Jumping jacks wipe you out. I mean, suddenly your energies are no longer crossing over. They're just going straight up and down the body. Did you hold with all your might?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, he lost so much energy. I was even just checking. but that's exactly what happens. What I would say is don't bet on the team who's doing the jumping jacks because suddenly they are not as clear. They cannot possibly be as coordinated as the team who doesn't do the jumping jacks. So now, if you do any exercise that makes you feel less strong, do a cross crawl afterwards. So I want to see you do a cross crawl. It'll bring you back, you know. So nobody has to energy test you. You can have, if you're feeling not up to par, do a cross crawl. All right. Thank you.
That's
healed.
amazing.
Yeah. Okay, come up here. His suggestion, you can manipulate exercises. If they aren't working for you, you can do them in another way. Do you know what a reverse jumping jack is? Let me see. I mean, okay, you know you normally go like this and like this when you do it. Okay, do it the opposite way. Put your legs out here with your hands down and then go like, is that right? Yeah, like this. And yeah. And it feels a little klutzy, but watch. It makes your energies cross over. So if you can,
Teach the teams to do that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's interesting. There was one place where I was showing that. I don't remember if it was England or Australia, but wherever it was, that's exactly what they already did. So it's like they had an instinct or something about it. Okay, I'd like somebody to come up here whom I haven't done anything with yet. All right, Greg. All right, come on up. Now what I'd like you to do is sit down. Yeah. And just sit down, and I want you to start reading anywhere you want, but let this arm be free so I can test it as you're reading. Okay. So hold your arm strong and read out loud to the folks, okay?
Detecting the aura. The human aura has been scientifically investigated by Valerie Hunt, a neurophysiologist. Over a 20-year period,
you keep reading.
She conducted a series of meticulous studies at UCLA's Energy Fields Laboratory that compared aura reading with neurophysiological measures. The colors seen by 8 aura readers not only corresponded with one another, they correlated exactly with the electromyograph.
You wipe their energies out, every one of them. And that is precisely what happens if your teacher or the speaker has scrambled energy. They put it out to you in a scrambled manner, and your body does not want to, in its wisdom, even absorb scrambled energy. So it will either be stopping that energy from coming in, or if it doesn't stop it, then it will scramble your force fields, put you to sleep, check you out, and you're not going to learn it. So it really behooves the teacher, the presenter, to have their fields running very smoothly. So we're going to unscramble your force fields.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Now, I want everybody to do this except for not you guys, okay? Because we're going to see if just his energy has an effect on you without you doing the exercise, okay? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to put clasp your hands together and see if your left thumb is on top or your right thumb is on top.
Left.
Left. And everybody who is doing this with us might find that out too. Clasp your hands together, although you guys in the front row are not going to be doing. You can find out which thumb goes on top, though. You can do this part if you want. So if your left thumb is on top, put your left foot over your right knee. And take your right hand and put it around your ankle, and left hand around the bottom of your foot and your toes. Now, is anybody out there with your right thumb on top? You, okay. Put your right foot on top, left hand around your ankle, right hand around your bottom of your feet and your toes. I'm going to get to the other side because this is me. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in through our nose, and as you do that, you're going to kind of lift your body up and let your breath out and just relax, okay? So, do that 4 or 5 times. Go. You keep doing that while I tell you what you're doing. You're unscrambling force fields. This is such an extraordinary exercise to do when you're feeling scrambled or nuts, if you're losing it, if you can't, if you're not grasping anything, or if you are feel like you're going to fall apart, you're hysterical, you're so stressed to the max, you're just not getting through your day. So after 4, 5, 6 times, put your legs down and put your hands in a cathedral position and do the same breathing. All right, now we're going to pick up the book and you're going to try to read again. And I'm going to take this arm again and read anywhere you want, and I'm going to test you.
Of the many systems that sort people into one category or another, the 5 rhythms approach has the advantage of being grounded.
Okay, I want you to do it a little bit longer. I'm going to tell you why. I just tested him, and what I want him to be is like steel. And he isn't like steel. He's stronger, but I want him to do it a couple of times more, okay? Because I want him to be in great shape for the rest of this class.
Right.
So I want you to put your left foot over again. In fact, I want you to put your right foot over, okay? And put your left hand there and your right hand here and breathe again, about 3 times. This is an indication just how much he needs it, okay? And I want to tell you that this is the first aid measure I use when I am really on the brink of hysteria. Because when I get too emotional, overwhelmed, can't win an argument with my husband, any of those things, I suddenly have my brain clear enough to be able to handle whatever is there. And I could have let this class go on, and he was strong enough, but since he already said that he was kind of depleted and not in great shape, he needs this even more so. So I would say do it a little bit longer if it doesn't give you all the benefit you need. Now put your leg down. And I'm going to just change it slightly from here. Take your left hand and turn it backwards. Take your right hand and put it over the top. Clasp your fingers and bring them up like this. And now breathe. You've seen little children do this. You've seen kids do this in bed. There's something very natural. If you feel like you're losing it at a business meeting, you could probably cross your ankles and do this if nobody cares. and you'll get away with bringing your energy back. Even if you don't breathe deep, it's going to help, okay? Now, I can feel a difference. I can tell he is very strong. Now, I'm going to show you the difference now. Now hold your arm up and read.
Of the many systems that sort people into one category or another,
he's very strong. I want you to keep reading. You don't have to have your arm up, but I'm going to test everyone as you read.
the 5 rhythms approach has the advantage of being grounded in the person's core bioenergies. At the same time, it tells you a great deal about that individual's health challenges, personality, and spiritual journey. When I look at a person's energy field...
And you healed them all this time.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if anybody heard it, but his voice was a little different, too. It's like it was a bit smoother, and you begin to hear those things, that a person sounds a bit different. One of the things that people have told me who started doing this a lot because they were trying to turn around a deep pattern of maybe being overly emotional all the time, really changing the pattern in their system, one of the things they tell me is they begin to talk slower and their voice drops an octave. So that's a good one for you. When we started that exercise, I asked everybody to clasp their fingers together and notice if their left thumb was on top or their right thumb. For most people, 9 out of 10 times, if your left thumb goes on top, it will work better if you put your left foot over your right knee. And for people whose right thumb goes on top, it works better for their right foot going on the left knee. But if you don't if you don't feel really like that made a difference when you do it, then I would use a little bit of the other side. It's like, whoa, there's an imbalance that's beyond whether your thumb is going on top or not, okay? So it does not hurt to do the other side. Some people do both sides. Most people find they just do one side and it's enough. But if you do not get full benefit, and you can feel it in your body, then do both sides. The other thing I'd like to say is that, especially if you're new to this, you may find that something doesn't last as long as you'd like, and you wonder, how long is this going to last? Which is often a question in classes. And I'd like to say that that's really individual. For some people, it lasts a very long time. For others, it's a much shorter time. But if you do the exercises, it will last longer for you. Your body will learn it like a habit. And pretty soon it'll kick in and you won't have to do the exercise. It's like your body, sometimes for me, for instance, that's an exercise I used to do a lot because I'm fairly dyslexic. And that particular exercise enabled me to be able to type or write or even talk clearly when I was very stressed. And if I did that exercise, suddenly I can type without misspelling words. But after a time, I noticed that I could go and type, and I wasn't needing to do that. And many, many people give me that same feedback, that if they do that exercise to overcome some particular imbalance in them, after a time, they don't have to do it so much. So that I do that now when I have really lost balance, but I don't need it as I once did. So the next two things, believe it or not, this only takes about 5 minutes to do. This is being stretched out because I'm teaching you right now, but you can do it fairly fast. Now, somebody else who's never had anything done to them, hop right up. All right. All right. Now, what's your name?
Randy.
Randy. Okay, Randy. One of the things that happens to us when we have a full, long day is sometimes our heads get clogged. And that's a part of not thinking well, but it's also, your head feels stuffed, like you wish you could clear it. Do you know what I mean? Yes? Okay. Now, I'm going to test you, okay? I want you to put your arm up like this, and I'm going to push straight down. All right. He's nice and strong, and I'm going to just tap on the side of his head here. And what that means is, now maybe just at the end of a stressful day, it may be that it's time for him to go to bed, it may be a lot of things, or it may be an accumulation of things, but he's not pumping up all his cerebrospinal fluid. Now I'm going to show you something that just sort of clears the spaces so more fluid can come up. Okay, it's very simple. All I want you to do is, let's see, what's the best way? If you can take your fingers like this, put your pads of your fingers here, and just pull across your forehead, back to your temples, and then come up to your hairline and push in and pull your head apart. And everybody out there, you'll like doing it. Just push your head in and pull apart. It just makes space for energy to come in. And just go back to where your head turns to go down. And that's about enough. Now, there are other techniques you can use to pump up cerebrospinal fluid. But with you, I'm going to show you. What I'm doing is I'm tapping at his suture lines where it's meant to bring oxygen in. I'm not even going to where we pulled at the crown of his head. I'm going to the sides. And for sure, up on the top it will be. But it just makes space, and suddenly it's like tapping your own inner healer. Your body suddenly says, whoa, there's space, and it pumps up the fluid. So it's a very good thing to do. First, just to split your forehead like that, and then to push in at the crown of your head and pull it apart. And it's kind of like tapping your own inner healer. Your body knows what to do. It suddenly will start pumping up that fluid. Okay? And it's very good for you. By the way, they've done some research on this, and one of the things, some of the feedback is that people's memories get sharper by doing that. If you keep the fluid up into your brain, your memory works better. Okay? Now, I want to say that sometimes when you start moving energy around, and especially if you're not used to it, your energy might move to an area of your body and it will reveal where there's a block, so you might feel it. Now, Julie, all right. Julie just told me that that she was feeling something that she hadn't felt before she came up here. And what she was feeling is that her back was feeling, a little, like it hurt a little bit now. And the reason why is exactly why I just said, that you start moving energy and it'll move to an area where your energy isn't flowing as well. And on that particular energy test, it literally tests these huge muscles. Energy has to go through this part of your back. So if you have some vulnerability there, it may show up. So we're going to fix her right now. Come on. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to therapy localize her so that without having to find all of the pain in her back, I can go down. I'm going to just touch on her spine. I'm just going to lay my hand in different places and test her. Okay, you hold your arm real strong. Weak, okay? I'm going to go down further. She's stronger there. A little weak. She's a little weak all the way down. She gets weaker down here. You can find very easily where somebody's off by just testing them. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay her on her stomach with your head at this end. And there is something called a neurolymphatic flush. Sometimes it's called a spinal flush. But what you do is you just take either your middle fingers or your thumb, and you just travel straight down both sides of the spine to the tailbone, starting at the very bottom of the neck. And you just use your body weight and push in. That's how far it is. I mean, that's how deep you push. But it is kind of deep, isn't it, Julie? And what I'm doing is I'm clearing her lymphatic reflexes. And what that does is that makes the lymph begin to move. And getting the lymph moving is really good for your immune system and your energy. And sometimes this is, she's getting tight in here, but sometimes that's all you need to clear your energy. We're going to see just how much we get moving on her. I'm going to go down twice because it felt like she could use this. But this is an excellent thing to do. My husband calls this the up against the wall points. You know, you really need something. You can just lean up against the wall and have your partner come along and just massage these points and clear out an awful lot of toxins. And it'll keep going after the person gets up. It's not completed there. It will continue to move because we've got the lymph moving. It's like tapping your own inner healer. Okay? Now, I want you to get up off the table, move a little slow. Sometimes it can make you feel a little wobbly. All right, first, let us know, do you feel any better?
Yes.
Yes, okay, you don't have to just say that. But yeah, okay. So now I'm going to test you. Okay, you hold your arm up, and now if we hit a place that she isn't strong, I'm going to just go to that one particular place. But we got the energy moving up and down, and so it'll continue to happen. It isn't just when you were on the table. Your energy's moving now, so it should feel better and better.
Thank you.
Aha, you're welcome. Yeah, the question is, do I always start at the top and go down? Usually I do, but periodically it does not hurt to go the other way. But for most people, because the energy rises and they get further and further away from being grounded here on planet Earth, and their polarities get thrown, it usually works for most people to go down instead of up. All right, if you do not have a partner, first of all, I would suggest, there are some places you can learn to reach around to. You can take your own fingers back here at the top and just massage back as far as you possibly can. You can go to some health stores, and they have these, I can't remember what they're called, but they're an instrument that comes up, bends around, and comes around to your back, and you can pull on it and go all the way down your back. You can do that. You can bend over and get as high up as you can. But if you can't reach the part of your body that you need to reach, then do the front of your body. It will eventually start the lymph flowing in the back of your body. So I'm going to have everybody out there do it with me, okay? Let's start right here. These are heart points. It's just underneath the clavicle out from K27. Notice when you have tenderness. If you hurt, you need it. Nobody needs to test you. And then come out a little bit further for governing and massage there. Governing governs your spine. And now the next point. So I'm staying about, 10, 12, 15 seconds on each one. You can do it more or less. The next one is right where you would stitch if you had to sew your arm to your body, okay? And what you do is take one hand, reach it across your body, and massage in that groove. And if you're thinking that you're not feeling anything, you're probably not doing it hard enough, because these are doozies, even if you do it to yourself. And these are extraordinary points. If you're really stressed out, these are amazing points that can help clear the stress. And these are main points in the body, right here, that clear stress out of the body and affect all the other lymphatics. Now the next, just go straight down your sternum and massage right on the top of your sternum itself, and notice if you've got any tenderness. And it can make you cough. It really can, because it governs the lungs, okay? The next points just go in between all the ribs on the side of the sternum, and you are massaging neurolymphatic points to your lungs and gallbladder. And notice again, notice when they hurt. All right, the next points are underneath both breasts. It's like a half moon under each side. You can do it one at a time or both at the same time, but you can massage right underneath. And again, if you for some people, you might get better leverage if you use your thumbs. And notice if you have any tenderness there. I do. Okay, now the next, and breathe, folks, breathe. The next points are cup your fingers and start underneath the rib cage and just push in and massage all the way down. And notice if you have any tenderness there. And that opens up your small intestine. The next points, about an inch above and an inch to the side of your belly button, are points to your kidneys. And then drop right down an inch to each side is triple warmer. Okay, now just drop straight down, just right up above your pubic bone is bladder. And it's just right on the top of the bone. Yes, hurt a little? Yes. Okay, shake your hands off every now and then. Now on the side of your legs, all right? Just, well, if any of you have pants on, it's right where it would stitch on the sides of your legs. And it goes from right at the top of your legs all the way down to your knees. And again, if you're not feeling any pain at all, you might want to come up here and see if I can find it for you, because they tend to hurt. Again, maybe your thumbs will, these are to your large intestine, and if you have any digestive problems, these are really good ones. And if you do these daily, if you massage your lymphatics, it's like clearing your body of so much debris, so much toxins, and getting your lymph moving that after a while you'll feel better and better and better. I've had people tell me who've done this for many, many, many days on end that after a time it begins to feel like they get on a fasting high. So the last ones I want to tell you about are lay your hands on the front of your legs and push your thumbs in to the inside. And notice what happens there. Those are small intestine points. Okay? All right, shake your hands off. All right, and that's it. This one, by the way, any one of these 6 things that I'm showing, you can do them separate from any of the others. They don't have to be all together. But if you learn them all, your body's going to get a feel for which ones you need more. And many of you will want to do them all. If you do them all, your body will really learn how to balance itself out by itself. This one is critical. It's really good. We have a meridian that runs from the pubic bone up to the bottom lip. Like that. I think of it as a zipper. And if you keep yourself zipped up, your energy up, you are up. Your energies are up. You're not as vulnerable to other people's energies. You're not as affected. Your self-esteem works better. You just feel confident and good. But if you ever have that feeling that you just want to go sit in the corner when you've walked into a group of people, what happened to you is the energy on this meridian just, it's like you unzipped all the way down. And all of your chakras are exposed and everything feels vulnerable. Everybody know what that feels like? You ever have that experience? Okay. So I'm going to show you something very interesting. I'm going to test a different meridian altogether because this one is tests central meridian. So I want you to hold your hand out and I'm going to push down towards the middle of your body, okay? And we got to get you strong to begin with. Oops, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just work your lymphatics a little bit right up here because it goes to that meridian. And they tend to hurt when you really need it. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, now hold your arm, and you push against me as I push down. Okay, that's good. Now, I'm going to show you something, and we'll fix her afterwards, so nobody worry about her too much. But what I'd like you to do is, well, I'll just show you something. I'm just going to, okay, let me make sure you're nice and strong. Okay, you push against me. Okay, now I'm going to do something, all right? I just did it. Now you hold again, push with all your might. You notice you lost your energy. All I did was look her down. And this is the meridian that is affected by other people, what they're thinking, what they're going through, how you pick up stuff from people as you go through your day. Or it also deals with your own vulnerabilities of just what you're thinking and what you're going through. If you've had a bad dream or any of those things can affect this meridian. But it also deals with hypnosis. So this is a meridian that you can use your own mind to affect, okay? Now I'm going to show you something else. I'm not going to tell you what I do, but I'm going to do it. Now you hold your arm again and you push against me. All I did was look her up that time, and that gives her energy. Now I'm going to show you that it has nothing to do with anything about her strength or her weakness or anything like that. Nothing to do with anything in her character. I want you to close your eyes and not know what we're doing. And what I'm going to do, you keep your eyes shut. And if I go like this, I want you to look her down from her bottom of her lips to her pubic bone. If I go like this, I want you to look her up, okay? And don't you try to guess. You be thinking of anything you want, but don't be thinking about this so you're not guessing, okay? Because the mind does affect this one. Okay, so just think of, I don't know, school or anything, okay? Something unstressful. Okay. You push against me. You see, it has nothing to do with her, even her involvement with you. It's this energy. No man is an island. We are all involved with one another, for good or for bad. We're in it together. And if you can remain very involved with people, and in fact, even more so if you keep yourself zipped up. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to imagine you have a zipper here and zip yourself up with your mind or with your hand, either way. And because it deals with self-hypnosis or hypnosis of any kind, pretend you have a lock and key and that you're locking it and nobody can unlock it. Okay? All right. Now, close your eyes again. You don't know what we're doing. But, and the only thing the audience doesn't know is you don't know she's got a lock and key, so you can't try to unlock her. But you can, if I go up, look her up. If I go down, look her down. She kept herself very strong when we looked her down. That's very good. Thank you. That's really invaluable to know. If you find that you're losing your energy through the day by just having to work with a lot of people and some of them throw your energies off, keep yourself zipped up and locked. I have a private practice, and if I've worked with a lot of people with a lot of different problems and I feel like maybe I've taken on a little bit too much, between people, I will stop. At first, I will actually unzip myself and let energy out. You know, I'll just take it down and blow out a little bit. And then I'll zip myself up and I'll lock it, and I won't have that problem. Okay, that was the daily energy routine. And again, if you do it quickly and if you learn it, it really only takes about 5 minutes. So, all right. This is a review of the daily energy routine that I hope you'll do every day so that you really come to know it and become very familiar. But in the beginning, you want to do the 3 thumps. And again, you can massage this if these points if they're more comfortable to you. But to either thump them, tap them, or massage them. Here's K27. Here's the thymus gland. And here are the spleen points. And breathe deeply as you do them. The next energy exercise to do is the cross crawl to make sure that your energies are crossing over. It's just an exaggerated march. You can hit the opposite knee like this, or just really swing your arms in this fashion. But do it long enough, say 20 times perhaps, something like that, so that your energy begins to feel like it really has crossed over. Do that enough, and your body will begin to retain the crossover energy more and more. All right, the next energy exercise is the Wayne Cook posture. And again, you sit down, and you clasp your hands together and notice if your left thumb or your right thumb is on top. If your left thumb is on top, put your left foot over your right knee, your right hand around your left ankle, and your left hand around the bottom of your feet and your toes. If your right thumb is on top, reverse it. Put your right foot over your left knee, your left hand around your ankle, your right hand around the bottom of your feet and your toes. And you take very deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth about 6 times. And as you do it, you lift your body and lift your legs. You go. Then you put your legs down and put your fingertips together and do the same breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. I want to show a quick variation in case you're in a situation where you, or a circumstance in your own health where you cannot do that. If you cannot put your body into those positions, just cross your ankles and take your left hand, put it out in front of you, put the back of your wrist in towards your center, take your right hand, cross it over, and then clasp your fingers together. Pull your hands up underneath and do deep breathing in this manner. So if you find you cannot do the other, do this particular method, and it will most definitely benefit you. At least 6 breaths. Now, the next thing to do is the crown pull. And this is the manner in which you do that. You take your fingers and place them on your forehead and press in and pull your forehead apart so that you can really feel the tension leaving is what you feel. And then take your fingers and sort of put them in curled finger position. Put your baby finger at the hairline and your other fingers going back over your head. Push in and pull apart. And go back over the top of your head. Push in and pull apart. Continue back over your head. Push in and pull apart. And push in and pull apart. Okay? Now here is a review of the neurolymphatics. If you have a partner, you can do the points along the back as was shown in the class. If you do not have a partner, you'll do just fine doing your own. So we start with right up here beneath the clavicle, massaging heart. And move out another inch and massage governing. And then take your hand over and massage in between that groove between the arm and the body. Take your other hand and massage in between the groove between your arm and body on the other side. Now you're going to massage right down the middle of your sternum, right down your chest bone. And when you're through with that, come right back up to the sides of the sternum and massage in between the ribs. And you're massaging lungs and gallbladder now. Drop to beneath the breasts, and there's a half moon on both sides, and you can start at the outside and just massage and come towards the inside of your body underneath the breasts. Now cup your fingers and start at the inside at the bottom of the rib cage and really massage small circles all the way down to the bottom of the rib cage, which is small intestine lymphatics. The next points are you just come in between where you just massaged and where the bottom of the bra line, there is a point right in between those two places where you can massage right here. And that is spleen meridian. Now, shake your hands off every now and then and come 1 inch above the belly button and 1 inch to the side and massage right there. That is triple warmer meridian. Drop down 1 inch to beside the belly button, and that is kidney meridian. Now, continue to drop down till you're at the top of the pubic bone and massage at the very top, and that is bladder meridian. Now, put your hands to your hips and just travel down the sides of your legs for large intestine meridian. And you should feel some tenderness there if you're doing it right. Now massage the inside of the legs, and it is small intestine meridian. Those are the lymphatics. The very last part of the energy routine is to place your hands at your pubic bone and imagine you have a zipper and literally zip that energy all the way up to the bottom lip and lock it when you get there. So again, there are 6 steps in the daily energy routine. The 3 thumps, K27, thymus and the spleen points, the cross crawl, the Wayne Cook posture, the crown pull, the neurolymphatic flush, and the zip up. Now, throughout your body are neurolymphatic reflex points, which are part of your lymph system. And massaging these points clears stagnant energy. It makes space to attract new and fresh energy and detoxifies your body. It gets the lymph flowing and brings an inner clarity that I've heard some people literally compare to the high they get when they fast. Now, you're already familiar with some of your neurolymphatics from the daily energy routine. Lymph fights illness and removes foreign invaders. It's the pale, thick fluid you see when you have a cut or a splinter. It moves through a network of vessels fighting disease and removing toxins. If you are feeling lethargic, massage your neurolymphatic points. It will energize you. It's that simple. Your lymph is like a snowplow or a garbage truck. If it is not clearing the roads, your energies will be blocked. Sometimes a person simply does not have the energy to do exercises and can't be pushed to do them because of exhaustion or illness. But if I can convince that person to just lay there in bed and massage their own neurolymphatic reflex points, he or she is going to notice how the energy begins to return. Your lymph system does not have a pump. It is unlike the heart. The heart pumps your blood, but there is no pump for the lymph system. So your lymph moves when you move, or when you massage your neurolymphatic reflex points. If your energy becomes stuck, massaging these points get it flowing. These points are like circuit breakers which get switched off when there are too many toxins in the body. So when your lymph is not moving, neither is your energy. You feel sluggish, tired, and you can't think as well. Stress has an immediate impact on every system of your body, and its effects accumulate. When you are stressed, you can lose up to 80% of the blood in your forebrain. That's a lot of blood, which travels immediately to your limbs for the fight or flight response. Our primal responses to stress were wired millions of years ago when we had to react instantly to threats. Today, our bodies often react to the ongoing stresses of civilized life as if they were the mortal dangers of life in the jungle. When the stress response is continually triggered, it is not only useless for your survival, it plays havoc with your health and with your peace of mind. You can interrupt this loop. You can reprogram your nervous system to no longer set off a crisis response in the face of daily stress. Now, if you train your nervous system to keep the blood in your forebrain, you will be able to think more clearly. You'll cope more effectively, and you will prevent stress-induced illnesses. Above your eyes, on your forehead here, are two of the most important points I can show you. They are called neurovascular points because they impact the nervous system and are a part of the vascular system. They affect the flow of your blood. Holding these points literally brings your blood back to your forebrain when you are stressed, and it begins to retrain your body so simple stresses do not activate the costly fight or flight response. May I have somebody else who's never been up here? Hi. Now tell me your name.
Matt.
Matt. Okay, Matt. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to test you, and you hold your arm real strong, and don't let me push down, okay? He's like steel. He's so strong. Now, I want you to bring to mind something that bothers you. Don't tell me what it is. Just bring to your own mind something that kind of stresses you or bothers you. You got it? Okay. Oops, I broke his arm. But that's how quick stress hits the body. It is instant. It is automatic. We lose up to 80% of the blood in our forebrains when we get very, very stressed. That's why you can't think your way out of a paper bag, you know, sometimes. It's like you don't have all your blood there. You don't have all your marbles there, okay? Now, what I want you to do is you stand right in front of me. I'm going to hold these points right here. They're right up above the eyes on the forehead. And I want you to think of your stress. Don't try to lift yourself up out of it. Don't try to think positive. Just think of your stress. And that's one of the things that I love about this particular technique is it's very hard to think positive when you're stressed out. It's very hard if you're really in the pits about something. But if you've got a friend who'll come along and hold these points for you, or you hold your own, eventually you will lift out by simply bringing the blood back into your forebrain. And normally what you do is you wait until you really feel a pulse beating in the forehead. And that means that the blood is back into the forehead and pulsing together. Now I can feel pulses. They're not even yet, but it is pulling the blood up. Now all right, so let's just see where he's at, okay? Again, it's not quite even yet, but we'll see. We don't know how bad his stress is. I don't want to stay here all day. But, okay, so bring to mind your stress, okay? And hold your arm strong. So what it does is it brings the blood back into your forebrain, and if you probably need to hold it a bit longer because I didn't wait until they pulse together. But what it does is it enables you to think your way through your problem. It prevents your body from getting some stress-induced illness. And if you're wondering if your illness you've got is stress-related, yes, it is. It always is. So that's very good. And that's one of those things we do automatically. When you get stressed, you go, oh my God. You put your hands up here. And that has been passed on through the DNA for millions and millions of years. And if somebody had simply told you to stick with it, hold it longer, just keep your hand there. And if you're going to do your own, you can either put your fingers right here over your forehead, or you can lay your whole hand here. Some people go like this, put their hand here, and the other one on the back points because it governs fear in the back. Fear, and there's also, it goes right over the hypothalamus gland, which governs the fight or flight. So to hold them here creates a polarity, and it holds more points than just the front. So they're very, very good. Don't leave here tonight without really letting that one sink in. Thank you, Matt. Years ago, I was always teaching neurovascular points because I knew how much they helped people. But I didn't have the same kind of success I watched other people have with them when they held their own. It was kind of like turning my energy back in on myself like triple warmer. I didn't experience anybody having as much difficulty as I did. I couldn't get my blood back up. I'd hold it and hold it and hold it. Nothing happened. And one day, something instinctual happened. And this is why I'd like to say, if you find you do something a little bit different, if you find that instinctually your hands or your beingness wants to do it a little different, pay attention. Because I was really stressed out, and without thinking, I automatically crossed my hands up here. And whoa, the blood began to come up. And I realized that when I get very stressed, my energies aren't crossing over anymore. And I simply couldn't bring them up. It was too much of like a homolateral energy of straight up and down. But when I crossed my fingers, it works. So try different ways and you'll find the way that really works for you. When your emergency response system is in overdrive, your entire body is taxed. So is your sense of well-being. And in our high-paced, overstressed lives, most of us are in overdrive a good deal of the time. So learning to hold your frontal neurovascular points right here on the forehead when you feel stressed is one of the simplest yet most valuable self-care tools you will ever learn. It is as important to keep your aura healthy as it is to keep your body healthy, because your aura is your body's bodyguard. Your aura is a buffer zone and a bridge. It's a multi-layered sphere of energy that surrounds and protects you. It filters out toxic energy, and it provides a bridge between you and your world. Your aura also connects you with other people. Some auras reach out and embrace you, while others keep you out like an electric fence. The aura, everyone has an aura, and some of them pulse way far out, and some stick kind of close to the body. Most people's function best if it's out beyond your arm's length, okay? And the aura is like your blueprint. It gives information about your attitude, your spirit, your personality, your soul. It tells everything. It gives information. And it gives information in color and in sort of geometrical shapes. It gives an awful lot of information. But one of the best things you can do is keep your aura pulsed out far and without holes in it. And then you are not so vulnerable. And also, well, have you ever had the experience of a feeling that you were bigger than just your body, that you're walking down the street and you just have so much energy? Does anybody in here know what I mean when it just feels like, whoa, something feels so good? Well, you can be sure that your aura is really pulsing out. Now, I'm going to pick somebody. You're going to have to bear with me, because I'm going to pick somebody who I know whose aura could go out further than it is, and that for whatever reason is kind of smooshed in right now, okay? You knew it, huh? Okay, you were waiting. You usually know it. You know, if I describe, you know, what it feels like, you usually know when it's you. Okay, but she has actually some really nice energy surrounding her body. It's just doesn't give her enough space. She doesn't take up all of her space here on planet Earth. Okay, to test how far out the aura goes, this is how you test it. You put your arms out like this, and we create a kind of diamond in here like this, and you push your arms up, and I'm going to push them down. Okay, you're pretty strong going that way. Now, the aura should go beyond your tips of your fingers here, and now you push up, and I'm just going to push down with a couple of fingers. I can do that with one finger. Push up with all your might. And it shouldn't be that I can make your energy go away by just cutting through the air like that. It's because there's no field to protect you there. So we're going to get your energy puffed out further, okay? So here's how you do it. If anybody out there would like to do it, it's a great one to learn, okay? So you're going to rub your hands together like this. Just shake it off. And for a minute, see if you can feel the energy between your hands. Don't worry about it if you can't. But if you do this a few times, you'll begin to feel the energy. You'll feel like you're pressing against something that is really palpable between your hands. But after, 30 seconds, don't worry about it. You know it's there, okay? So then take your hands and put it beside your ears like this. I'm going to face you. No, I'll face the camera here. Okay, put your hands beside your ears and just stand there for a minute. Rest your hands here so that you're establishing that contact between your hand and your head. Now you're going to take a deep breath in and bring your elbows together. You can go. And on the out breath, cross your arms and swing your arms out. Now bring your arms in front of your body and cross it right where your arms will hang. With a deep inhale, and let your breath out and bend over and let your arms swing out again. Now this time, cross your arms in front of your ankles on the inhale, and on the exhale, just let them swing out again, and this time, bend your knees slightly, turn your hands toward the front, and scoop up that energy and let it go down the front, side, and back of your body. All right, now I'm going to show you what just happened. Now I'm going to put your arms out like this, and you push up. Now I'm going to go down the ends of your fingers in the same way. You're very strong. I'm going to go out further. You're very strong. I'm going to go way out. I mean, I can go out very far. I'll tell you, she goes beyond, between the first and the second row over there. So that really, and the more you do it, you will train your auric field to stay out further and further and longer, and you are far more protected in this world if your field is out than if it's sucked back in tight, because you're feeling vulnerable. Keep your field out, and you can be as vulnerable as you want to be, but you'll stay protected. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to show you something very simple now about auras and some very easy ways you can keep your energies, especially your energy body, further out from you and with less vulnerability of leaking and holes and or just some spaces where energy is not. So would somebody just come up here? You want, anybody? All right. Now, if any of you work on other people's bodies, this is an easy one to do to them. But you can also do it to yourself, and I'm going to show you. Let's see, there's something called scanning. And let's see, I'll test this arm. You put that arm down. I'll test this arm so that I can use this arm to scan. So I'm going to test him. He's nice and strong. So I'm just going to move my hand. Okay, now hold your arm strong. And he begins to lose his energy over here. If I move out further, he gets weaker and weaker because there's a bit of a hole there. And that doesn't mean there's a hole in you, but it's like we get vulnerable through the day. And so something has made some space in here not as dynamic and full and healthy. So you can do this to yourself. And now another person can do it to you also. But if it feels comfortable, just begin to move your hands just right over that area. Just move your hands and then just move them out like this. Out further and further. And you're doing a very good job. Now bring it in again. Right by that part of your body. And just shake your hands off. Now watch this. I'm going to just scan again. Now hold your arm strong. And he goes really far out. He's very, very strong. And you can start sort of weaving your field together and getting it stronger and stronger. You don't even have to know where that is. But after a time, you'll begin to feel it. Move over your own body and you think, whoa, there's something off there. Or maybe my heart hurts there, or my stomach hurts here, or different parts of your body. It begins to show up on your body after a time. But you can heal it in the energy body, and your body will begin to feel the benefits of that. Okay? Yeah. Thank you. All right. Come here, Ingrid. Yeah. I'm just looking to see who might need this, okay? So I'm going to test in that same way, okay? You have a field that comes out very far. Hold your arm real strong. Now if I go like that and like that, your energy, it could get a little stronger, I guess. But I'm going to show you out here, if I go just like that, you lose a lot. So there's something that isn't coming out as far in this area, but you can fluff your own field. You can go like this. Just take it all the way up and do it with breath. Go. And your field, I can go way out here, and even out here it's stronger too, because fluffing at any place, it makes it pulse out further. So, but in your case, it's in the front more. Okay? Thank you. That's just really simple, but I cannot tell you, just doing these little simple things begin to have effect after a time. In summary, you can scan your aura to locate and seal leaks and lesions. You can fluff or massage your aura to create movement in it and to release toxic energies. You can weave your aura to pulse its energies outward and form a strong protective web. Now, energy spins and spirals, and it curves and it twists, and often in sideways figure-8 patterns. It's like an infinity sign or a double helix, or sometimes there's a third loop and it resembles a 3-leaf clover or Celtic spiral. I call this pattern the Celtic weave. These figure-8 patterns may be as large as your torso, even your body, or as small as your cells. They wind through all your other energy systems and create a resonance among them all. The Celtic weave pattern is the weaver of your force fields, and it holds your energetic structure together. So the healthier you are, the stronger these figure-8 patterns. But if your Celtic weave is faint, your energies aren't weaving together very well, and you are less vibrant and more vulnerable to illness. This is really invaluable, what I want to tell you now. You might notice, or if you sort of get conscious about how you hold your body sometimes, you might notice that your knees are crossed, or your ankles are crossed, or your arms are crossed, or there are parts of your body that tend to want to cross. And what I would say to you is really listen and let your body cross exactly as it wants to cross. Because there's a lot of popular notions out there about, well, for instance, if you're crossing your arms, you're trying to keep other people away. You know, that it's body language saying, I'm not going to let you in. When the truth, believe me, that is not the truth at all. What I see energetically is that either there was something in that other person's energy or something vulnerable in your own that if you cross your arms, it literally protects you so that you can take in that person even more. So if your body wants to cross in any way, you know, pay attention. I see people out there, their arms like this, their legs like this, their hands crossed. Everybody's got something crossed. Or your fingers laced. It's a crossing. Your body's trying to cross. And what I see, and have seen more and more as the years go on, is this wasn't planned on, and this wasn't a training. It just, I began to see it more and more, that the people that were the healthiest had many zillion, cajillion little crossovers in their energy. And so when I see, now he's got some very nice energy, but if I just do a quick swipe like that, I can take his energy down with one finger. And that's because his crossovers aren't always as strong as he might like them to be. And so, but if I let's see, if I make I'm just going to make a figure-8 on him. I'm going to just trace it like this. And what it does is the body falls in alignment with that, and you can, not only just this one figure-8, but all over his chest, all over everywhere. It's like figure-8s begin spinning and moving, and sometimes you see 3, so they look like a 3-leaf clover or something. But now I can like that. I even hit you, and he won't lose his energy. So every time you cross over also in some way with your body, you're literally also making some of these figure-8 figures. Okay? So I'm just going to look at you for a second, okay? What I want you to do, this is your exercise, okay? This is your exercise. And if you do this one exercise every day, you will strengthen something in your beingness that'll just give you more vitality. And what I would do is do it in any way, shape, or form you can, but just cross over. Just think, you know, when you're not doing anything, just cross in any way you can, okay? I'll show you something else. Here's one more thing. I want you to pretend for a minute. Okay? And you don't have to keep your eyes shut. I want your eyes open. Okay, I'm holding your arm now. You hold your arm really strong like this. Okay. What I want you to do is imagine you're sitting at a telephone and you're doodling with little figure eights. Okay, so just doodle with your hand. Okay, make your hand do it. Doodle. Okay. When you doodle your figure eights, it goes all the way up into your body. Every little neuron picks it up. You know, all the synapses grab it and start making figure eights everywhere. I think that's why people doodle. You know, they don't know it, but their nervous system is causing them to doodle. Now watch, okay? I mean, it makes you stronger to doodle. Okay, so that's the other thing, is you're to doodle every day. I've said before, and I want to say it again, how important it is to watch what you're intuitive about. If you're intuitively doing something, you probably need it. You probably need it. And there is some wisdom in your body that's directing you to do something. And somebody just asked me about taking a scrub brush and doing figure eights on their arms. And I say, yes, wherever you can do figure eights, do them. And you might think of your own self when you hear music or something like that. Your hips tend to go into a figure eight. There are so many things we do. If you go roller skating or ice skating, you do a kind of a figure eight as you move. And yeah, my arms were just doing it. You just automatically do it. There's a way of doing a figure eight in front of your body and just starting to sway. You can get all sorts of movement in your body in every healthy way by simply doing these sideways figure eights, or any way that feels really good to your body. I often have children who have learning problems, have a great big board in front of them, maybe a blackboard, and take a chalk and make figure eights on the board and follow it with their eyes, and then maybe do it with their left hand or both hands, and they don't have to stay in the lines. They can get very, very teeny and very, very big, but it really activates the crossover of the hemispheres from the right to the left side of the body, and it makes those figure eights go. I had this is an intuition. Somebody who thought she had none. She had no intuition, she thought. And I was working on her not too long ago, and she had some real extreme physical problems. And boy, in a moment, I suddenly had them and she didn't. And I didn't know how that crossover had happened, but she intuitively said, wait a minute. And she was laying down, and I was I was bending over her, and I had a huge headache, and hers was gone. And she said, just a minute. And she took her own finger and she made a figure eight over her own eyes. And my headache went away, and it didn't come back to her. It's like she said, I have no idea what made me do that. It was just an intuition. And for sure it worked. But figure eights really will surprise you, and you will be surprised just how much you do them automatically. And as I said before, when you doodle and when you stitch, when you sew, there's so many ways you make these figure eights, and they're exceptionally good for your health and for your energy and vitality. By weaving figure eights over your body with your hands, you can strengthen the Celtic weave pattern, and with it, your health. Weaving your Celtic weave weaves together all your energy systems, so they operate as a single web, Touch one strand anywhere, and your whole system reverberates in unity and harmony. Your meridians are your energy transportation system. They are pathways in the body that connect the dots. They link hundreds of tiny reservoirs of heat and electromagnetic energy along the surface of the skin. In Chinese medicine, they're known as acupuncture or acupressure points. They're hot spots, and these hot spots of energy can be stimulated with needles or physical pressure to release or redistribute the body's energies. Infrared photography shows light being emitted along the meridians, and it demonstrates the movement of energy. The flow of the meridians is ever changing, like a river that rises and falls. Instruments can read the fluctuations of these energies, and people can also learn to detect them. A clogged meridian acts like a clogged artery, keeping the organs from getting the energy they need. Now, 12 of the meridians are actually one single long meridian that surfaces 12 times. Each meridian segment is named after one of the primary organs or body systems it serves. There are 2 additional meridians called central and governing that serve the entire body, because central meridian nourishes the brain and governing supports the spine. Meridians are electromagnetic, and they carry subtler energies as well. If you move your hands over the meridian's pathway, you will influence the flow. You can trace a meridian by keeping your hands in direct contact with your body or a few inches away from it. The energy will follow your hands as if you had a magnet in them, and the meridian will be strengthened. I'm going to show you just how easy it is to trace your own meridians. So, I will start with central and governing meridian and begin from there through all the other 12. First, I begin always with the 3 thumps, just to make sure that my meridians are going in the right direction. So I tap K27 and breathe deep. I tap at the thymus gland and breathe deep, and I tap at these spleen points underneath the breasts and breathe deep. Now, when you trace your own meridians, you want to go slower and more deliberately, especially in the beginning when you're learning, because you're turning your own energies back in on yourself. So use your full hand and just go a bit slower. Rub your hands together and shake them off. And then place your hands down at your pubic bone and zip straight up the front of your body to your lower lip. Governing starts at the tailbone, goes straight up the back of the spine, and where you can no longer reach any further, think with your mind up to the place where your other hand will reach to it. And then take your hand up over the top of the head, over the forehead, over the nose, and ending at the top lip. That's governing meridian. Spleen meridian starts at the inside of the feet at the big toe, goes straight up the inside of the legs, flaring out at the hips, up the side of the rib cage, and down to the bottom of the rib cage. Every now and then, shake your hands off. Heart meridian starts underneath the armpits and goes straight off the baby finger. Start underneath the armpits and make a beeline straight off the baby finger. Turn the hand over for small intestine meridian. Start at the baby finger, go straight up the arms to the shoulders, drop back on the scapula, over to the cheekbones, and back to the opening of the ear. Start at the baby finger on the other hand and go straight up to the arms to the shoulders, drop back on the scapula, over to the cheekbones and back to the opening of the ear. You shake your hands off periodically because you're moving energy and your hands tend to collect it after a while. Bladder meridian starts in between the eyebrows, goes up over the crown of the head, and reach down as far as you can down your spine. Then reach up underneath as high as you can, go down either side of the spine to below the waist, jog in and up toward the waist and in and around the gluteus max. Leave the meridian and come up to the outside of the body to the shoulders and go straight down the body to the knees, in at the knees, down to the floor and off the baby toe. Okay? Kidney meridian starts underneath the ball of the foot, and you come up to the side of the foot, make a circle over and under at the inside of your ankle, and then beeline it straight up to K27 and buzz yourself when you get there. Really massage it or tap it. Circulation sex starts at the outside of the nipple, come up to the shoulders, go down the inside of the arm and off the middle finger. And then go to the other side of the body. Start at the outside of your nipple, come up to the shoulder, down the inside of the arm and off the middle finger. Turn the hand over for triple warmer and start at the ring finger. Go straight up the arms to beneath the ears, follow the ears around and behind and end at the eyebrow. Triple warmer starts at the ring finger, go straight up the arm to beneath the ears, follow the ears around and behind and end at the eyebrow. Gallbladder starts right in the temples and drops to the opening of the ear. You go straight up about 2 inches, circle forward on the temples and drop back behind the ears. Over again, over to the front of your forehead, back over the crown of the head and down the neck. You go forward on the rib cage, back on the waist, forward on the hips, straight down the legs, and off the 4th toe. Liver starts on the inside of the big toe and goes straight up the inside of the legs, flaring out at the hips, back underneath the rib cage in line with the breasts. Lungs starts at the lungs, goes up over the shoulder and off the thumb. Lungs goes up over the shoulder and off the thumb. Large intestine starts at the pointer finger and goes straight up the arm to beneath the nose and out to the flare of the nose. Large intestine straight up the arm to beneath the nose and out to the flare of the nose. Stomach starts underneath the eyes and drops to the jawbone. Circles up the outside of the face to the forehead and comes down through the eyes to the collarbone. Out slightly. Go over the breasts, in at the waist, out at the hips, straight down the legs and off the 2nd toe. And spleen one more time. You start at the inside of the feet, go straight up the inside of the legs, flaring out at the hips, up the side of the rib cage, and down to the bottom of the rib cage. Now you zip yourself up, central meridian, and governing straight up the spine, over the head, over the nose, to the top lip, and there you have it. Now, I want to show you just how fast you can do this down the way. Like if you want to get out of jet lag or you feel like you've really lost your balance, I'm going to show you that once your body sort of knows the rhythm of moving that energy, just how quick you can do this. All right? So I'll start with massaging K27 just to make sure my meridians are all going in the right direction. All right, ready? Central, I'm going to zip myself up. Governing goes up over the head to the top lip. Spleen meridian, heart meridian, small intestine, bladder, kidney, circulation sex, triple warmer, gallbladder, liver, lungs, large intestine, stomach, spleen, I'm zipping myself up. You see how quick you can learn to do this once your body knows how to do that. And it just may be that that is what will bring you out of perhaps jet lag when you've flown to a place and skipped through time zones. Tracing your meridians is one of the more valuable things you can learn to do in your lifetime. If you really want to keep the flow going and not come up against blocks in your body, if you learn to do them daily, you will feel the benefits in more vitality, more aliveness, just feeling better. You will not be as vulnerable to illnesses, and well, it helps with so many things. Your body literally learns to be able to handle stress better. When my children were young, when I would get out of sorts or just lose my balance and they were afraid I might lose my temper, my children would say to me, "Let me trace your meridians, Mom." They would trace my meridians and I'd be fine again. I'd be absolutely normal, just having moved that energy that was stuck. Likewise, if you have a pet at home, you can trace their meridians and they love it. Animals take to meridians like what? Fish to water. They really absorb that energy and they can stay much healthier, or they can come out of a hyper state, or they can, whatever it is you need, meridians really work on animals. Okay, I'm going to show you how to trace somebody else's meridians. So I'm going to turn Becky here to me. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to massage K27 on her to make sure that her meridians are running in a forward manner. Because you don't want to trace somebody's meridians if they are all running backwards. So that's just a fail-safe thing to do before tracing them. All right. Now I'm going to turn her to the side, and I can do this together. By the way, I can touch her or not touch her. I can stay within her energy field and it'll still work. Just so that you can really learn and see where my hands go, I'm going to touch the body, if that's okay with you, Becky. Okay, so I'm going to put one hand at the tailbone, one hand down at the pubic bone, and I'm going to zip her up to the bottom and top lip for central and governing meridian. Then I'm going to face her towards me, and I'm going to start down at her feet at spleen meridian. Okay, spleen meridian starts at the inside of the feet at the big toe, and you just trace your hands up the inside of the leg, flaring out at the hips, up the side of the rib cage, and down to the bottom of the rib cage. Heart meridian starts underneath the armpits and goes off the baby finger. Then turn the hand over and start at the outside of the baby finger for small intestine, and just trace up the arm to the shoulders, drop back on the scapula, over to the cheekbones, and back to the opening of the ear. Bladder meridian starts in between the eyebrows and goes up over the crown of the head. I'm going to turn you around. Go down either side of the spine to below the waist. Jog in and up toward the waist and in and around the gluteus max. Okay, leave the meridian and come up onto the shoulder and go straight down the body to the knees, in at the knees, down to the floor, and off the baby toe. Now, turn around this way and rock to the sides of your feet like this. Kidney meridian starts underneath the ball of the foot, comes up to the side of the feet. Now you can flatten your feet. Circle behind the inside of the ankle bone and go straight up to K27 and buzz them when you get there. Buzz. Okay. Circulation sex starts at the outside of the breasts and go up over the shoulder, down the inside of the arm, and off the middle finger. Triple warmer starts at the ring finger and goes straight up the arms to the shoulder to beneath the ears. Follow the ears around and behind and end at the eyebrow. Gallbladder starts in the temples and drops to the opening of the ear. You go straight up about 2 inches, circle forward on the temples, and drop back behind the ears. Forward again, over to the forehead, back over the crown of the head, and around the shoulders. Reach underneath and just go, that's all right. Go forward on the rib cage, back on the waist, forward on the hips, straight down the legs and off the fourth toe. Liver starts at the inside of the big toe and goes straight up the inside of the legs, flaring out at the hips, back underneath the rib cage in line with the breasts. Then start at the lungs. For lungs, go up over the shoulder and off the thumb. Large intestine starts at the pointer finger and goes straight up the arms to beneath the nose and out to the flare of the nose. Okay, stomach meridian starts underneath the eyes and drops to the jawbone. Circles up the outside of the face to the forehead and comes down through the eyes to the collarbone. Out slightly, over the breasts, in at the waist, out at the hips, straight down the legs, and off the second toe. And spleen meridian starts at the inside of the feet at the big toe and goes straight up the inside of the legs, flaring out at the hips, the side of the rib cage, and down to the bottom of the rib cage. And then zip them up one more time, straight up the front and back of the body to the bottom and top lips. It's really important to understand and remember that because your energy is electromagnetic, you can align your energies up with another person's and trace their energy flows. And it's like taking a magnet along that flow. So you're moving that energy, and it often will just move right through blocks in their bodies, but it will also, it will affect all the acupuncture points that are along the meridian's pathways. So when you go to see an acupuncturist, he may be working on some of the points, but he most definitely is also working on the meridian pathways that the acupuncture points are on.